Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues. With this video, we'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 6 of the anime series, Danmachi Gaiden's Sword Oratoria. This was all kinds of badass. Seeing Aiz finally leveling up to level 6 and kicking all kinds of ass in the opening of this episode against this monster, this gigantic creature that was wielding a sword, which was unexpected to Riviera and everything like that. And it's not like this was a battle that was strictly OP and she was just kicking ass very easily so. She was having her ass snapped back a few pegs as well, landing flat on her ass against a boulder in one case, having her defenses stripped one after the other. This was not an easy challenge for Aiz to approach, and still she held her own, very much still fueling the frustration carried over from the previous episode in her interactions with the red-haired tamer, as we saw who, Finn was able to hold toe-to-toe with, but for the most part, this woman, she might as well be OP with whatever level she happens to be. She was handing Aiz her ass and then dropping the name Arya. Now we're finding in this episode that all of Loki Familia, they know this name. They're familiar with it. And it is concerning to all of them that this tamer dropped that name. What ramifications, what involvement, what exactly is it about that name that is so, concerning to the lot of them that they now understand, oh, so that's why Aiz went into the dungeon, wanted to stay in the dungeon and kick all kinds of ass. That's why she subsequently disappears in the midst of this episode, going back to the dungeon, still seeking something, some purchase that she hasn't been able to align for herself as yet. This is something she's been pining for a very long time, as we see through the course of the series thus far, to be able to break the next echelon in her leveling. She finally did it, but it wasn't satisfying. What more is she after? And I love the point of view of this series that we're having it more told from Aiz's point of view, because I'm really enjoying the interest and the intrigue she has in Bell, all of their encounters, which sees him screaming off, rolling like a ball as he did in the first season in this episode, calling back on that situation. And I love when she goes back to Loki Familia, and there's Riviera who said, because they find him knocked out, put his head on your lap and let him relax, aid him in waking up and all this stuff. Just be supportive. And she leaves, and then she catches up with Aiz later when she returns, and she's like, so what happened? Did you finally apologize for, how bad you're feeling about him and how he's feeling about the situation? And as soon as Aiz says, no, he ran away again, you have Riviera, this master of stoicism and ability, just breaking down and chuckling like a girl. Just like absolutely dying over this. And I lost it. I was like, oh my God, this is too hilarious. And for that, it's intriguing to me, this whole idea. Who is Arya? Is it Aiz's elder sister? Is it her mother? I think more likely it's probably a sibling, but what happened to her? Why is this such a concern for Loki Familia at this point? And it's intriguing to me. By the end of the episode, of course, we're still very much parrying off of, different aspects of the first season. Again, Aiz now having left Loki Familia in secrecy, still seeking something, still having a drive to search for something that is as yet unanswerable. Again, we're seeing from Aiz's point of view, she has that interest in Bell, and so she's, I guess you could say, becoming protective when she overhears these other people. Oh, that kid with the white hair, he's headed for disaster and everything. And she basically, she takes it up as her mantle to go after, maybe even being borderline smitten with Bell. I think it is absolutely cute. The way she smiles when she's cradling his head earlier in the episode. And she's like, you've been really working hard. She's proud of him. She's proud of how far he's come. And she doesn't even realize, she's only at the sort of cursory level of understanding just how far and stronger he's becoming to work in tandem with her. And by the end of the episode, they have that confrontation again briefly, because Bell has other concerns at that point, but he's defeating the monsters in the dungeon, that sort of, grassy field and wheat field or whatever it is. And so, of course, Eyes comes in to help, and he's summoning that magic, that like fire blast magic. He's running off again. At least this time he ends up saying something to her. He's like, "Thanks for helping." He takes off. And so there is Eyes, and for all intents and purposes, everything is pretty much status quo to what you might expect. They throw in a twist toward the end of the episode, of course, with this enigmatic figure that just appears out of nowhere, had apparently been like camouflaged or invisible, whatever it is, but Eyes can detect them. And whomever this is says, they were the one who had contacted Lulune in the first place and gave her the heads up on stuff. And like, so Eyes is basically like, what? I'm like, what? And whomever this is now charging Eyes, requesting of Eyes to go on a mission for their benefit. I just love it. I love it. It reminds me of why I loved the first season so much. And the added intrigue of new territory, a new mystery, a grand new story arc being in the works is just that much more enticing and keeping me compelled and glued to my screen. This whole idea of Arya. Who is she? Who was she to Eyes? Why is it so concerning? What is the grander machinations going on between Uranus and this tamer and all this stuff? What is it all amounting to? Who is behind it? Can we trust Dionysus? Not even Loki and Loki Familia. They feel like, well, he's a questionable character as well, his involvement. We can't take it at brass tacks that he doesn't know what's going on. Maybe he's part of it. We can trust no one. And that excites me. It's a grand mystery. What the hell is going on? Who exactly is behind it? Who can we trust? Who can't we? And then to see that budding relationship going on between Belle and Eyes from Eyes' point of view this time around, it's just awesome sauce. And so I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of the latest episode, this particular episode of Danmachi Gaiden Sword Over Tori episode 6. Love it or hate it, anything goes in the comments below. Just love having that conversation. Not too much pushing forth the plot until the very end of this episode. Most of it was just battle and such like that with Eyes and these monsters and her internal conflictions. And, I don't think it was any lesser for it, even though we didn't get a sort of momentum to the actual plot. We were spending more time getting to know her. I was appreciative of that. So, yeah, again, let me know in the comments below what you thought of it as well. And that'll be pretty much it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well. I'll catch you all later. Peace.